Last Epoch is an action RPG developed by 11th Hour Games, and one of the huge parts of this game is its faction system. As you get to the end of the main story, around chapter 9, you're given a choice. To join one of the two factions, the Merchants Guild or the Circle of Fortune. You can only be in one faction at a time, so this decision is pretty important, and it changes your endgame significantly. So let's go over the two factions, what you unlock as you level them, the ranks, the good and the bad, and overall which one is better and what I would recommend. So first up, the Circle of Fortune. The Circle of Fortune is more of a solo self-found kind of gameplay. It gives you increased drop rates, you have more ability to target farm specific items, and you have a cool system that lets you do tasks to receive powerful items of your choosing. The ranks for the Circle of Fortune start out with increased drop chances, better quality of drops, and doubling the chances of certain rewards. And then towards the end of these ranks, you get really exciting things like high tier affixes being twice as common, which basically means your rolls will be higher, uniques being twice as likely to have legendary potential, which is really important in endgame gear, and then just overall a increase in the amount of different drops you get and the rarity of those drops. As part of all this, you have access to the observatory where you can gaze at the stars and look for prophecies. These are basically quests. They're basically tasks that you can do that reward an item or multiple items. So for example, go defeat a boss in a monolith and get 1 unique ring. Go fight 5 siege enemies and get 4 rare belts, that kind of thing. You can buy lenses with your favor as well to improve and tailor these prophecies. So favor can be gained from doing endgame content like monoliths or dungeons, and you'll easily get tons of this just by playing the game. So in this faction, your gameplay loop is you go out and farm the endgame content, the monoliths, the dungeons, with your boosted drop chances, and then you earn favor and spend that on new prophecies and then head back out for more. The pros of this faction are really strong. It's just a really fun way to play. As you have boosted drop chances, you get that excitement of big, exciting drops a lot more often. You get more legendaries, more uniques. The stuff that does roll has better stats on it and higher rolls of those stats. And then to go alongside this, you can tailor this with the prophecies. You can buy certain lenses and you can re-roll your prophecies to find the ones you want. So say you're really hunting down a legendary or a unique helmet of with certain stats on it, say minions, then you can take prophecies for helmets and then you can roll them and take more prophecies. You can sit with like 5 prophecies there that all will drop unique helmets, legendary helmets, and then just go out and do endgame content and you will just see helmets dropping everywhere. It's a really fun way to play, in my opinion. It's RNG, it's boosted RNG, and it's just a good system that they've put in the game. Your only real downside with this faction is that you don't get access to the market. So if you were to find, say, a really powerful sword with the best melee stats on it, and it was just like the perfect sword for a Void Knight, and you're a mage, that's useless. You can store it in your stash in case you ever choose to roll a different character, but it's not going to benefit you in any way. So let's talk about the other side, the Merchants Guild. The Merchants Guild is essentially an auction house, a place where you can buy and sell all of your loot to other players. As you climb the rank of the Merchants Guild, you unlock the ability to buy more and more valuable items. So at rank 1, you can sell any item to another player, but you can only buy normal, magic, and rare items. Once you get to rank 2, you can buy set items, the green ones. 3, you can buy uniques, 4, idols, etc, etc. Until eventually, at rank 10, you can buy everything, including legendary items. The way this works is as you do quests and progress through endgame content, you will start earning favor. This is your currency that allows you to trade in the bazaar. And this favor is fixed. So if you want to buy, say, a unique staff, that might be 1,000 favor. And then that same staff, but the legendary version, might be 10,000 favor. So that's like the buy-in price to trade on the bazaar. And then players will set a gold cost for that item as well. Now, the great part about this system is that it allows you to target the items you really want easily. So say you're following a build guide and it says, in order to make this build work, you need this offhand and these gloves or something. And they're like build defining pieces of gear. You can get them on like the first day of endgame. People will list the lower versions, the non-legendary versions of these items or the ones with not perfect rolls at literally 0 gold. So as long as you have the favor, which you can get in an hour or 2, you can easily grab these and start your endgame build, which is fantastic as somebody coming from Diablo 4, where you can be farming for a unique that you need to literally turn the build on for weeks. And these are like the entry items, which are very affordable as soon as you hit endgame. And then for the really good items, like a legendary item with a good roll, say something can roll between 30% and 60%, and you have that item with a 60% roll, it's an absolute banger, you can sell this and list it. You can list this and sell it for thousands or millions of gold. If you want a huge head start and you want to unlock these key items quick that will bring your build online, get you going and really boost your damage and your ability to clear things, the Merchant's Guild is an incredible kickstart to your end game. It helps you target and work towards guaranteed items with almost perfect rolls and gives you full agency over your build that you can just say, I need this much gold and I need this much favor and I will have it tomorrow. So yeah, it's really good for farming your own gear and it's really good for selling all the other gear that you get that you can't use. So I would say the downsides to this are the time commitment of going through all your items, checking the market, looking at the prices, looking at the different percents, trying to price your item correctly to make sure it sells. You know, some people will love that, but others just want to spend more time fighting and playing the action RPG side. Another massive downside of this faction is it is completely unusable offline. So when this game launched, there was a lot of server issues and there still are at the time of recording this video. A lot of people have made offline characters and I have one as well in the 70s, and you cannot be in the Merchant's Guild. You can join it, but all of the stalls, all of the benefits of being in the guild are turned off. So it's completely unusable on an online character. So that's something to be very aware of. And the only other downside I would say is you have worse drop rates than if you're in the Circle of Fortune. So overall, which faction should you choose? I would say it depends on your playstyle first. If you want to fast track, you want to have a build that you are following and you know what your bis is, you know what gear you want, you can just join the Merchant's Guild and within a couple of days, you can buy out lots of the endgame gear and be in a really, really good spot. But if you're playing your build your way, you don't know what items are out there, you're new, you just want to play the game, have fun, equip the cool things, then the Circle of Fortune is the way to go. You'll have huge drops, more exciting rewards, and your stash will just be full of endgame gear. And with the prophecies, I would say your endgame experience is probably more fun and more aligned to what I would expect from an ARPG. One piece of advice I would give is don't try and min-max. So what I tried to do was go into the Merchant's Guild, get to like rank 6 or 7, buy out all the gear I wanted, and then switch to the one I wanted to be in, which was Circle of Fortune, and kind of have the best of both worlds. And they don't let you do that. So if you try and transfer, one, you lose all your favor, which is fine, but the real issue is you can't use the gear that you bought from the Merchant's Guild. So say you bought a piece of gear and you need to be rank 4 to buy that gear. If you go over to the Circle of Fortune, there'll be a warning on that gear saying, you know, unusable unless you're rank 4 with the Merchant's Guild. So yeah, I would just say try and find the end game that you'll most enjoy. Is that end game buying and selling, looking at stats on gear and finding those high stats, selling them for a profit, trying to make legendaries and sell those, things like that? Or is your end game doing prophecies and hunting for these big drops and seeing the big flashy things on the screen all the time? For me, I find Circle of Fortune a lot more interesting and a lot more fun, but it's undeniable that the Merchant's Guild is an insane fast track to get you good gear on day one of hitting endgame. But that's it from me. I just wanted to explain what the two systems are, kind of show what they are, some of the restrictions in place, and more just explain what the endgame is like depending on the system, the faction you choose. So that's it from me. I'd love to know your experience down below. Like, what did you choose? Did you regret it? Have you maxed it? And have you found anything different than what I've seen? But yeah, that's it. Subscribe for more guides, reviews, and builds on ARPGs and MMOs. I'm going to wrap it up here. Take care, and I'll catch you in the next one.